Yo, Kingdom, community vibes, community ties. Terrance Tucker is the brother who's connecting the tribe.
Miss Hall, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Listen, I am so honored. Okay, I'm so happy. Listen, man, I've been a fan of yours for so long. So this is such a huge blessing to me to have you on the community vibes, man. Okay, well, thank you so much. We know you're a busy woman. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into it. Okay, now, like I said, welcome to the most impactful podcast on earth.
That's right.
Community vibes, man, where we like to highlight people that are doing phenomenal things within their own respective community, right? And you are that person. You've been doing so much. Listen, and I've been following you for almost 3-4 years now. And I was like, man, she killing it, man. She is doing her thing, man. So listen, we all know that this virtual thing really gives me, the chance to, let's say, reach out to someone who lives in New Jersey.
That's right. Of all places. And where are you at?
I am in this small bitty town called Columbia, South Carolina. You may have heard of it.
Oh my, okay.
You may never heard of it, right? But this is the Vibe Show, and listen, my audience, right, they're gonna stand up to give you a huge round of applause because we have Miss Kendra Hall on the show.
I'm excited to be here on Community Vibes.
Listen. This is special, right? But do you want to know why it's so special?
Why is that?
Because this is the first virtual podcast that the Vibe has done.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we always have people come in studio. We always have people come in studio. Okay, so this is the first one, and that's why this is so special, because what you're doing is so special, and I had to make you the first one.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I so welcome and appreciate the opportunity to be on this amazing podcast. You do so much for the community. You're so impactful. So it is definitely something that I don't take lightly, being asked to be upon your podcast. So I do appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, we know that you're currently living in New Jersey, correct?
Correct. I am a New Jerseyan. I've always lived in
New Jerseyan, yeah. So let me ask you this, because we know that you've been dropping jewels for a long time. But for the people who may not know you, for the people who have been living, let's say, down south, who may not know you, who is Kendra Hall?
Well, I'm an author, a motivator, someone who speaks about dealing with difficult situations, but being hopeful and being able to persevere through life's ebbs and flows. So what I really push into the atmosphere are good energy, good vibes, pertinent resources for people to be able to move forward in life. I match people with the types of resources that they need at times. And that could be whether it be a action or just maybe a person that they need to be connected with that could really open a door for them. So I have a book out called Dropping Jewels, guiding girls live their best life. It's a great story because it teaches the principles of living foundation based upon God's love and God's truth and His word. So it is, and it's also a telltale story and a cautionary tale of what can go wrong when you make the decisions that seem to be comfortable at the time, but you know that they're wrong. So and so it really kind of teaches you how to get through. Yeah, get some life lessons. And I also have a show called Survivor Show. So and I interview survivors of different types of situations. I just recently did a episode on somebody who was a family tragedy survivor. So it's been very, very rewarding and interesting.
Now, what gave you the courage to write a book?
You know, I've always been a writer. I would have to say that. And the courage came from me being out on my own. A little of my story, I've been out on my own since I was 13. And being out on your own at a very young age, and also being a mother. I had my first son at 14, and I wound up having 3 kids by the age of 18. So I was really thrust into a lot of adult situations while dealing with trying to adolescence and not being able to have the age to have the resources available to me, because you have to be 18 or you have to be 16. And, you know, what does somebody who's 13, 14 do out in the world when they need resources and they're by themselves? So, you know, that's a little bit about my story, and that being out on my own at that age really brought a lot of courage in, because you can't be timid. You can't be timid when you're out on your own.
You gotta be strong on your own.
Woman, a young girl out on your own, because, you know, there's so many different traps that you can fall into. So many people that approach you thinking that you don't have the wisdom to navigate through life's ebbs and flows. And so they're just waiting. They're the wolves waiting for you to slip up. And when you're at your lowest, that's when they strike. So you have to really be courageous when you have to fight with wolves and that's what I had to do. I just don't look like what I've been through. That's it.
Hey, that's the truth, because you are gorgeous. So that's the truth.
Well, thank you.
That's the truth. Now, you know, you mentioned that, you know, you had kids when you were young. So how did you deal with the negative stigma that comes with that? Because there's so many people that's looking at you like, oh, you know, well, you know, she's not gonna make it, and she has kids this age. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but you achieved it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I would have to say one thing about me. I was fueled. I was an angry young person. When I was handling the things, I was loving towards my children and loving to the people who, you know, who care for me. But as far as authority figures, I had a problem with authority when I felt as though it wasn't fair. I felt as though that I was kind of left out when it came down to the rights of being able to do. And that just it could have been parents. It could be, you know, just a social worker, whomever it might be. You know, I just had a different type of mentality that, you know, again, you just have to be in a situation where you're courageous. Otherwise you're going to be stomped upon. So, you know, just really being able to be focused, even when you're told that you're not going to make it. It has to be something within you that stirs you. Just kind of like something I've read through Anthony Robbins, and he said you have to be disturbed in order to really make a move. So I really just became disturbed that I was being told that I couldn't do these things, and it motivated me, because I for me, even more background, before I was out on my own, I came from a 2-parent household. My parents both had their master's degree. I came from an upper middle class background, and I didn't, you know, I was sleeping on a Craftmatic bed before then being thrust into poverty, laying on a basement floor surrounded by mice trying to bite at me at night. So there is a big difference, because I knew what it was to have, and I knew what it was then not to have, and I knew that I could get back to the have. Because I saw that it was attainable. I had that vision. I was around those types of people growing up, up until that certain age, where I was no longer around that type of environment as much. But that worked for me very well, because my parents were very much into education. So I had a tiger mom. I had a father who was also extremely into education. So for me, I had to read the encyclopedia. I had to write from the dictionary, some type of reports. And so I had parents who were very, very much into education. So my foundation was very stable. Plus I was in the church all the time. I was in church Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
Hallelujah.
Saturday, twice on Sunday, going to the visiting church. You
were
know,
you
I was
singing in the choir
leader. I did. I was a lead figure in the youth choir. So, you know, so being in that type of environment where I'm I'm used to testimony service and being in the hot church and, you know,
Right.
seeing the hymn Bible and the hymn songs and the Bible just with my fan and
Yes, ma'am.
as a little person jumping up and down and all of that. And that was already spirited within me. In addition to just knowing the word of God and listening to what my pastor would tell me about, and youth pastor as well, about what my role was as a young person in the world, as well as, again, reading the word. So I had this strong foundation prior to going into the wolf's den. And that was really that was really important to have, because if I didn't have some type of foundation, I wouldn't have been able to climb back in to be able to have 2 college degrees at this point, purchase my first house by the time I was 24, really, you know, just really be able to turn my life around and deal with domestic, you know, all the trials and tribulations that I went through being a young person, also dealing with domestic violence. I was thrown through a window, I had guns pointed at me. I was in a domestic violence shelter at 16. And, you know, I was going through so many different situations so young. It was almost like I was in my 20s and my teens.
Wow. So let me ask you a question, because, you know, because you've been through so much, Ms. Hall, so much, and you have persevered through so much. Amen. And you've learned so much.
Right.
What was that? When did you have like that moment, like, you know, that epiphany moment, like, look, my life has to change right now?
I would say there were a couple epiphany moments that I said that my life had to change right now. I've had a lot of those come to Jesus moments where, you know, a lot of those where, you know, I was changing my life because they were about to cut the lights off, or, you know, we needed some food in the refrigerator, and I needed to make sure that, you know, your Christmas was coming, and making sure that I had the things that I needed for my children, and just being able to stay employed, all of those things, having a vehicle, you know, just the basic stuff was such a struggle at times. So whereas I had I had enough come to Jesus moments, because that was all I had, all who I had to lean upon. When I think of all the people that I had in my life, no one had my back at those moments. I realized at those times that it was just me, and I had to be able to stand upon my own too. I can't look for somebody else, and I can't blame anybody else, because I made these decisions. And now the come to Jesus moment was me repenting and saying, wow, I made some bad decisions. Now I need to make amends and not do these same decisions again. But that did not preclude me from making a new set of bad decisions. And now having another come to Jesus moment. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Hey, when I always heard from like my mother, man, she would always say that, you know, your biggest mistake will be not learning from your mistakes. Right. So that's important, because listen, man, we all gonna make mistakes, right? But we have to learn from those mistakes, and you've done that. But I got a huge question for you. So that 17-year-old Miss Hall, did that 17-year-old Miss Hall see this person right here?
This 17-year-old person was pregnant. I was pregnant at 17 with my second child. And, you know, actually, this is what happened. I was 17. I had just given birth to my second child, and then towards the end of me turning 17, I got pregnant with my third child, because my 2 youngest are 11 months apart. So now I was at the end turning 18. I was in a pickle in itself, because I was living with my son's father in an abusive situation, and now I found out I just had a new baby. We just had a new baby, and now I found out that there's going to be another child coming into this world, and so that moment of responsibility, you know, was really pressing to me. And I think that during that time frame, I was in more of a family situation, you know, and keeping in mind, I had a lot of, it was almost like I was in my, like I said, I was a lot older because, you know, I'm living in a lot of situations
You're being through so much.
It's the three of us, you know, it's you and your kid, you have a family, you know, it's not, so it's not, you're eating dinner together with your partner, your partner, and it's almost like you're married even though you're not married. So you know, I was living in I was playing house, if you want to, if you so want to call it. So at that time, I think that I saw myself as the wife, you know, as being somebody who was going to have this particular household, and I had a lot of stress on me and just pressure to be able to live this particular look this certain way, act a certain way, and fit into this relationship box, because a lot of these years were spent in relationships. And so that's another big thing to keep in mind when you spend your teenage years in long-term relationships. It's a different type of mentality that you have because you've been through a lot of stuff with that person, especially when you're young. And that young love is different than the older love.
It's very, very, very different. It's much different.
Anything goes with young love. It's just all emotion.
But you know, but you know what? Can you really call it love?
You know, you can call it, I think people could call it whatever they feel as though they felt. And I can't discount anybody's feelings of how they felt at that moment, because at that moment you felt how you felt.
You felt how you felt, right? Exactly.
Right, and love to you equated that. So that was love to you. But now you know that you loving on a different level. So now that love is what you're matching. But at that time, to me, that was love when you're young and you're matching that energy, because both of you have no clue what anything else looks like.
No clue.
So that's the highest level you want to get.
That's awesome. Right. Man, you hit the nail on the head, man. The nail on the head. It's crazy.
Yeah, you know, that's what and my mother always told me a long time ago when I was one of these things that she said after I think I had my second son, and she said, you know, what do you have to offer more than you're behind? Okay. Wow. That somebody who has something going on would want to deal with you, right? And so, but at that time when you're young, you think you have everything to offer, but you really have nothing to offer anybody who has anything going on, because you have not gotten yourself together. And you don't know what it is that you really truly want, because in 10 years after that, you'll want something totally different. So for me as a 17-year-old trying to imagine a different life, I was so stuck in the present, but still knowing I wanted to accomplish goals. Like I wanted to purchase this house, and I wanted to, you know, I was definitely in terms of college. I wanted to finish college. I had graduated high school early at 16. So, you know, I was already out there working by, you know, under the table even before 16, you know, trying to do what I needed to do, working at pager shops, whatever I needed to do that friends had at the time. That was what was in style. Everybody had pagers.
And two-way pages.
Okay.
Two ways, man. Them 2 ways to get you. Yeah. So let me ask you this. Yeah. So you talked about your kids, right? And your kids, man, they've seen your growth. So how does it feel, you know, knowing that your kids went along with the, you know, they actually grew up with you?
No.
Not.
So I'm a parent.
Oh no. Well, not. Well, you know, not like that.
I would say
but
this.
What I'm saying is, you know, they actually seen your growth as well, though.
Yes, I would say that they see my growth, and with one plus thing, and I really wish, again, when you have children young, and one of the things I tell young mothers or people who are contemplating, even young people getting pregnant early, is you really, even if you'd like to, unless you have some serious financial backing, somebody in your, however you feel like you can do it, 9 times out of 10 won't work the way that you think, because you don't have enough to sustain financially yourself and a child. So you can't give your child all the opportunities that they would ordinarily may have had you planned the child out and allowed them to, you know, allowed yourself time to be able to get them the things that they need. You know, you're able to do that. You're able-bodied to do that. You know, you're not just in survival mode, right? So a lot of times when you're young, you're more so in survival mode. And I think that for them, they saw me more so hustle survivor mode. And now I'm a little bit more calm. And my survival mode was more kind of like stricter, even a little bit more than my parents, because, you know, I had little brothers that I used to babysit back in the day. So, you know, I kind of had this baby this way, and I was always like, even in church, watching over the young kids in the daycare. I was always called to do that. So I was always in big sister mode. No matter what, I was always in that leader type of position. And so just having children, I became more pushed to propel. So it would be Saturday mornings. We have, you know, we all getting up. It's time to wash the baseboards. I'm blasting music. You know what I mean? Like it was very structured. We went to church on Sundays, and I'm a teenager taking my children to church.
That's awesome.
You know, and nobody's telling me I have to go. Bring them. You know, it's something that I knew that I had to raise them a certain way, because I was already giving them a disadvantage by not having all of the financial backings that I needed in order to give them this type of opportunity that I feel like they deserved. You know, so I would do things like, I did a raffle for them to get into a private school. So they were able to go get into a private school. I didn't, you know, through scholarship. I made sure that they were into a after school program. So I actually got a scholarship for that. And so I really started to take advantage of programs that were available that I could find, even for like Christmas presents. I signed up for programs, and I got even for Christmas baskets for dinners. I signed up and I got Christmas dinners, you know, the whole basket of the food. So these are the types of things that I would do as a young person to make sure that my kids did not feel the brunt of what, of not having. And I think that that's all the best that you can do. And then for my oldest one, if anything, saw more than, because he's a little bit older, to kindly see at least just my first house at 24, they were more comfortable. You know, everything was more, and I had my place. I've had a place of my own since I was 15.
Wow.
So 15, and I had a couple different places, and then I had a couple different apartments. And then I had this apartment that I had from 18 to 24. So I wanted to make sure that they were stable. You know, can't keep moving around with kids. And for the apartment that I had to be on a waiting list. It was a brand new construction apartment. You know, I did everything I could do to make sure that they were comfortable, as opposed to just saying, all right, I'm just going to deal with whatever life throws at me. It was kind of like, no, I have to fight for mine. And so, because I knew that they could have better. And some of the things that were offered to me, I felt as though I could have more. So why should I settle for less? Right.
Exactly. Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. Listen, you are a true warrior. A true warrior.
Gotta be.
But a phenomenal
parent. I remember getting up at 4 a.m. You know, I had to get up at 4 a.m. every day. I had to catch several buses. You know, I remember having one child on my pouch, like, you know, I had this little carrier in the front. You know what I'm talking about. Then I had one in the stroller, and then I had my other son holding on to the side of the stroller, and I would have to get on the bus. I would have to actually carry groceries like that on the bus. I would go grocery shopping like that because I didn't have always money. If I didn't have money for a cab or something, you got to do what you got to do. So, I mean, I had to just hustle and do.
True. So, now, those who watch your, social media pages, they know that you are a fitness guru. You're always in the gym. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You are a fitness guru. When did you start working out that hard?
I think I would say I started in 2018. I had joined up with somebody I have grew up with, actually, who was a trainer. And so I really started going hard on his program. And then it just, at the same time, my best friend, she's a trainer. And it's kind of like, everybody was in the same circle. We all grew up together, from age 10, 7, like little kids. So you know, it just kind of seemed as though more and more people who were in my circle started appearing more in my life. And so then I became more involved with fitness because I kind of felt like it was time. I already worked out. So I already worked out because my best friend's in fitness. So I mean, I've been doing fitness back and forth for since I was really young. Keeping in mind, I would wake up at 4 just to work out. Because, you know, and I've always been pretty slim, and I would work out to get thick.
Hustling backwards.
Right. And then and then it became, you know, then you kind of switch it up. But, you know, like I definitely went harder because I wanted it to be, you know, I wanted to see how far my body could take me. And so the interesting part is I was working out so hard that in the beginning of 2019, I got something called rhabdo, and I always pronounce it wrong, rhabdomyolysis. I'm pronouncing it wrong somehow. But what it does is that it happens when you work out too hard. So when you work, you know, I was working out too hard, lifting weights too heavy. And so I found out all of my organs were shutting down. I was feeling pain and I was dealing with it. And then all of a sudden, like, one night I just couldn't deal with the pain, and I wound up going to the hospital. I mean, to the Medi place, you know, those like little Medi places, and they told me from there they was going to have to call an ambulance and take me directly to the hospital. And I wound up having to everything shut down. My kidney shut down. I had fluid in my lungs. They had to drain my lungs. They had to actually take a piece of my lung. It was my first time. I was in ICU. I was about to die. So you saw if there was so there was a lot of my followers were, you know, were paying attention at that time, and they were really, really supportive, which I'm thankful for. When I was in the hospital, because I had, you know, I was like super, super thin at that point because I couldn't eat. I had like tubes in me. I had like a tube in my side. It was like awful. Yeah, it was awful. And so like, I didn't think I was going to make it. Like, I really didn't think I was going to make it. It is only, you know, the grace of God that I'm here.
Grace of God,
The grace of God. So it's kind of like, you know, I had to really scale back on me working out at that point and not go as heavy. So I realized that. Yeah, I was, and then plus I've been running off of 2 hours of sleep for some time. It was like my body was telling me pause. You know, it was like, all right, you're doing too much. And then I'm like, all right, I can fight through it. And then your body's like, sit down.
Yo, sit down somewhere, man. You're doing too much. But so currently right now, so do you feel like right now you're, you know, with your workout routine that is, has it been therapeutic for you?
Oh my gosh, it's so therapeutic. Exercising really does release the tension and stress out of your body, because we all harbor this stress and we may not realize that it's seeped into us. And it comes out in different ways, whether we're snapping at somebody, whether we're not really taking care of ourselves. And when you're not working out, it is kind of like you're not taking care of yourself. That's true. In my opinion, right? Because we all know we have to do it. You don't have to do it every day if you don't want to. You should do something. But you know, you have to do at least 3 to 4 times. You got to do something that's going to keep your body going. Otherwise, it's going to shut off.
Exactly.
You got to do. It's just like you have to maintain this. So you know, your vessel that God's given you, and you have to honor that. And part of that is eating right. Your health and wellness is all really integral. Because you expect your body to perform, your mind to perform in a very high and advanced fashion. If you're expecting that, you have to give the fuel that it needs in order to perform accordingly. So it really is important for exercise to be incorporated into my world, because if it was, and it has been since I was a young person. I was always, I ran track as a young girl. I was in dance. You know, I did a lot of physical activities because my parents were very serious about that too. There was not going to be anybody just sitting around, and my parents were also very strict about what I ate. I didn't eat McDonald's. Okay, like I was not allowed to eat certain things when I was young, because there was no white bread in the house. Okay, no. No,
Wow.
my parents called it dough bread. Okay, it was not allowed in the house. We would beg for white bread because I would go to my friend's house and I would snatch that white bread out there.
Yeah.
Then I could get it choked. Then you know what's in your throat. You know,
like you ain't had nothing to eat in years. Yeah, that's crazy.
Anyway,
that's crazy, man. That's awesome, man. I mean, listen. Yeah, it's nothing like working out, man. Keep, because we all know that your health is your wealth.
Exactly.
You gotta work out, man. You gotta take care of your body because we only get one life, man. So you gotta take care of that body because that is your temple.
Right.
So, but we are watching you and we love to see you work out because sometimes you motivate me to just get up and say, man, go to the gym, man. Listen,
I love that. I'm thankful.
Go to the gym. Go to the gym. So that's what.
Well, you look amazing. So I can see that you've definitely been working out and definitely all that you've been doing.
Yeah, I try to do it.
And you do so much within the community. You still find time to make sure you do some self-care, and that is keeps you going because you can't pour from an empty cup.
No, you cannot.
Mm-hmm.
You have to give to. You have to. Well, what I learned is you have to take care of yourself before you can get to everybody else. You see what I'm saying? Because that's so key because, listen, your mental health is key. You know what I'm saying? But your heart, your lungs, you know what I'm saying? Listen, man, your stomach, that stuff matters too. So what you put in, that's so important. That's so important because you need stamina to put in this good work, right? Because we're fighting this good fight right now, right?
Right.
So you need that good stamina to make these things happen because listen, man, you can't fight for nobody else when you ain't got no stamina. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? So going forward, Ms. Hall, what can we expect from you going forward?
We're going forward. There are a lot of new things coming. Definitely stay tuned. I'll have some major reveals. I would say October is November of this year. So definitely stay tuned. In addition, I'm working on another book, and that'll be out next year. But I do have 2 other projects that are coming together that'll be out this year. So in addition to, and so until that comes and it's in my face and I see it, I don't tell anybody until I see it and it's done. But definitely stay tuned. I'll make sure I make some big announcements with that when that happens. But definitely writing the second book is a journey, and survivor's jewels. Delving into this new series and helping to share people's stories of hope and inspiration is really near and dear to my heart. And so that project is something that's ongoing. So stay tuned. It's every Sunday at 7 p.m. on Instagram Live. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So speaking of that, how can my viewers, how can they follow you?
They can follow me at Justice Jewels at JUSTJEWELZ. So at JUSTJEWELZ, Justice Jewels.
Awesome. Make sure you guys follow her because she is popping, man. Listen, she is a warrior out here, man. Really working for her community. I'm telling you that. Listen, we don't have no fronters on the vibe. Okay, you got to be certified to come on the vibe. All right,
I'm telling you,
she is certified, man. So before we let you go, we have to ask you the magic question that all my guests have to answer, and your answer to this will determine our friendship going forward. Okay.
Okay, it's
serious.
Ready for
this? Okay, you ready? This is very serious, by the way. It's very serious. You ready? Okay. Now I know that you're a health guru and you watch what you eat, right?
I do.
But at one time, you ate chicken wings, didn't you?
I still eat chicken wings.
You still eat chicken wings? Oh, good.
I do.
Okay, still eat chicken wings. Okay. When it comes to chicken wings, now, listen now, think about this very carefully, all right?
Okay.
When it comes to chicken wings, Do you prefer the flats or the drums?
The flats or the drums?
Yeah.
You know what? For that one, I'm just going to go with, I don't have a preference.
Good. That's good. We'll take it.
What have a preference? It's food.
We'll take that. Yeah.
We'll take that. But if it's chicken, I'm good.
There you go. You know,
depending on
we have
what
so
it is.
many flat lovers out here.
Not chitlins, none of that type.
No. Just chicken, because we have so many flat lovers out here that I hate. You know, we just listen. The vibe can't stand those flat lovers. You see what I'm saying? Because we're all about drums over here. It's Drum Nation, okay? It's Drum Nation. We love drums over here. All right. So if you would have said flats, man, we would have had to, you know what I'm saying, fight it out. Okay.
Wow.
But
wow.
Hey, but your answer, that's dope. Because you don't have a preference. You love everybody.
I'm glad I wasn't kicked out the circle. I appreciate it.
There you go, man.
Circle
You're still a part of the clip.
Gotta keep it.
You're still a part of the clip. Listen, Ms. Hall, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on the vibe, man. We really appreciate it, and we're thankful for that. And listen, we'll be following you, okay? So you guys, please follow her, okay? Listen, put God first. Listen, don't let nobody stop you from your dream, all right? Listen, man, salute. Ms. Hall, thank you so much. God bless. Okay, keep fighting the good fight, okay?
Blessings.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yo, Kingdom, community vibes, community ties. Terrance Tucker is the brother who's connecting the tribe. You say you won't shine, come get your shine on. You say you want vibes, come get your vibe on. Community vibes, community ties. Terrance Tucker is the brother who's connecting the tribe. Hey, you say you won't shine, we'll get your shine on. You say you want vibes, we'll get your vibe on.